We're here at Extreme Metal Products, also known as EMP, here in Cleveland, Ohio. Today we're going to be installing our new flip-up windshield for the 2015 RZR 900 and the 14 and 15 model XP1K. First thing I want to show you is I'm going to show you the polycarbonate windshield. This is a 3/16 thick polycarbonate. It's hard coated on both sides. In other words, it has a hard coating that's applied to both sides, so it makes it pretty much scratch resistant. And it's made from polycarbonate, which is virtually unbreakable under normal use, unlike cheaper acrylics on the market. Next thing you're going to get, this is your bottom seal. This will go along the contour of your hood to seal off your hood. This piece here, this will go along the top. Underneath your sun visor, mount to the two stock bolts. And what's important to know about this is sealing up above the windshield, unlike other flip-up windshields that leave a gap. So this is great if you're using a canvas cab or a soft cab or any other cab system. Next part here, this will mount on here like this. This will clamp down on your visor to keep this from vibrating. Next thing to show you, these are rubber coated straps. These will go around your cage through these mounts right there like that. This is your aluminum continuous hinge. It will mount to the top visor right there. The other side will mount here. What you want to know too is this has been made long enough so that it'll actually cover up the barrel of the hinge and the gas. Like that. Okay, next thing to show you, on the bottom, well, how this is going to work, this is going to have 4 positions, all the way closed, partially open a little more, and then you'll move this and it'll go all the way up on the gas struts. So with that being said, on the bottom you're going to have these billet strap clamps with a thumb screw. And this is what will actually go into here, like this. And with that, you're going to have a left and a right, or driver's side and passenger side. You're also going to have a gas strut on each side. And this is going to mount to the windshield here on the inside, like this. And what you want to note, one side you're going to put a gas strut ball stud. And this will only go on one side. So if it doesn't go, you're on the wrong side. We made it so you can't screw that up. So that's about that. And then on the top, you're going to be using these wider clamps. We made it a little beefier because it does hold the windshield up. These will go on the top part. And that's about it. We'll move on to the next step. These are the tools you're going to need to mount your new flip-up windshield. You're going to need a T40 Torx head bit, Phillips screwdriver, a 3/8 and a 7/16 wrench. These happen to be, one on each side. You're going to need it's another 7/16. You're going to need a 1/2 inch socket, and that's it. We've installed the 3 screws along here with Phillips screws with we're using a Phillips on one side and a 7/16 wrench on the other. We want to leave the 2 end ones off because we're going to mount the rubber straps to the cage with those bolts. So that's step 1 done. Now we've got all these screws in here. We're leaving out the 2 for the straps like we mentioned before. It's important when you put these on, use a hand screwdriver and a wrench. Don't use an impact gun screwdriver. You could crack the plastic or break the polycarbonate. Because it is so close to the edge. So you want to just torque it down. Do not over tighten it, just make it kind of hand tight. Make sure the screw goes to the nylon of the nut is all you're trying to do. And then the next step we're going to do here too, we've placed the rubber edge trim along the bottom. And now you can just start working on one end and just with a rubber mallet or whatever, just tap it down as you go. And one thing to point out too, these are DOT approved, as you can see there, it's etched in the glass. Okay, move on to the next step. Okay, the next operation, we're going to assemble the pivot point hinges and the windshield braces together. We've already put the ball stud pointing towards the inside. The ball stud is only going to go in this hole. It's too big for this hole. And we're working on the driver's side right now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this nylon bearing washer, put it over that, slip that into that hole there. Now we're going to be using the thin nylon nuts. You have wider ones, you want the thin ones. The thin ones will only work for clearance issues at this location. Now one thing you want to know when you do tighten this down, you want to not over tighten it. You want to make it snug so it still can pivot without wobbling. And I'll show you just 1 second here. Okay, it's snug. That'll loosen up a little bit as you use it. You may want to retighten that, you know, in a month's time or something. Okay, now we've got that together. That's going to go on the windshield on this side to these 3 holes, just like we've done over here on the passenger side. As you can see, we've used 3 screws, 3 of the wider nuts in 3 locations. Okay, on to the next step. Okay. Now we've got our hold open brackets installed to the windshield. You know, like I said, there's a driver's side and passenger side. We've got our rubber gasket on the bottom. We've got our hinge attached to the glass. We've left these 2 bolts off. We've got the top piece bolted to the hinge, and we've put the this piece on here loose with a warning label. It says, "Do not operate over 5 miles an hour with the window in the fully up position." And as you can see here, now we can just slide this up into place, and then using the torque screws that you took out, install the visor right back in up here. And that's all there is to this step. Okay, now we've got the Torx bit installed. We've got the windshield mounted on here. We're going to take these 1 3/4 rubber coated straps, slip around a cage. Using the 2 1-inch long truss head screws, you're going to put it into here. Now note, these are 1 inch long. You're going to put this into here like this. Then you're going to put the nut on the back side like we've done over there. One thing I do want to note, I want to show you here, is because these screws are Phillips and a large Phillips, make sure you're using a really large screw. I'm sorry, really large bit. Another thing to show you then, we tighten one down. The last thing to do on the inside here is tighten down these 2 nuts. And as we mentioned before, see, the windshield does stick up and blocks off the holes in the hinge. We'll move on to the next step. Okay, we're almost done here. Last couple things we got to do is we've got to install the billet clamps. You've got a skinny clamp with a metric thread on it. That goes for the bottom with your thumb screw. And on top here, what you want to make sure is it's got a little groove for the nylon nut. You want to make sure that faces out. These are a little tricky. You might want to wear gloves for it. Keep your hands clear. That snaps on there. It snaps on tight and good. And then this is going to go inside here. Screw's going to go. Well, I'll pick that up. Screw's going to go inside there. I'll put it the wrong way here. Can you hold that up for me, please? You might need a buddy to hold that up for you. And we're going to tighten that down. And we'll show you on the other side what we did over here. Okay, we'll move on to the next step. Last step, you have to spin your gas strut. So what we want to do is pull this little piece off the gas strut. Then put it over top of your ball stud, snap it on there, snap this piece in there like this. And now we can swing it down as you'll see when you open and close this, you're going to put that around there like that and then hook it in the grooves. And one thing to note too, these are for reference. There's some grooves in the windshield. You may need a little adjustment up or down, just depending on your vehicle windshield. Everybody adjusts them just a little bit different. How far open you want it to go, and so forth. And that's it. Now we're ready to ride. We got it all mounted. We'll show you how it works here. You've got one position, partially vented. The other position, a little more vented. And then all the way up like you got there. That's for cruising around a campsite, hunting, whatever you want. We recommend up to 5 miles an hour in a fully open position. As you can see there, that's all hard coated. All comes with all hardware, mounting, and it's from Extreme Metal Products. So we'll show it close here. Fully closed. Let's ride.